actually good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah. So basically, what's happening is when the oxygen leaves and it goes into the medical grade system, what's happening? You've got an O2, right? And we're using electricity to actually splice that O2 in half. Okay. So when you hear me changing this, it's going higher. That's the speed at which it's actually slicing those things up.
Splitting those. Okay.
Right. So that's actually going to be increasing. The total is called gamma output, right? So the total gamma output from obviously the device into whatever, like we're in the chamber here, we could be actually sending it to the water if we wanted to, through olive oil, ears, nose, we have rectal insufflation, vaginal insufflation. So what's happening is that when we split that, the molecule up, what happens is that now they're all ones, right? But by nature, they want to combine, and form two. Right, yeah, that's what we breathe. But what happens is it's a menage a trois. Like they go, phew, and they all come together, and actually, so that's how we are able to form the O3. So what's actually really interesting is that we may be doing this with this device, but it actually happens in nature. So if you ever realize after maybe a big storm comes by, lightning, maybe daytime, and you walk out, you're like, God, it smells nice and fresh and clean.
Exactly.
That's actually because of ozone, because that lightning did the exact same thing, right? So that's what it goes there and it strikes those atoms, those molecules, splits them, yeah. And they come back and form, the ozone, right? So what you're really breathing or smelling is, the ozone that happens through nature. Now let's talk about ozone. You're like, man, I heard it's like, watch out, you're gonna die. You're breathing ozone. But what ozone is, that's how we're able to really mark and say, hey, this is how many chemicals are in the atmosphere right now. Like we've got, from I think there might be a 20 to 50,000 average that we could be breathing in from exhaust, from paint fumes, whatever it may be. And so anything that might impact that layer, we actually have to gauge the ozone layer, right? And that's how we know how the exhaust and all the chemicals are impacting that layer. Yeah. So instead of naming off these 20-something thousand chemicals, saying, well, this chemical is at this one's at this one's at this, we have to use that one gauge, right, to say, hey, the ozone layer, oh no. It's not like the ozone layer is going to kill us, but it's actually how what we're doing is impacting that ozone layer. That's how it's a barometer, really, to gauge it. So, so this is just look at it as like a supercharged oxygen. All right, right now you're breathing in 16%. You know how to feel, right? And unfortunately, we need a lot more. Well, we don't need because we're surviving, sort of. But we need more. Yeah, man. You want as much oxygen you get in your body. So the difference between this and every other therapy you may hear about out there, we're actually taking that molecule, we're getting to form that O3, we're adding it to your body. Right now it's obviously going to be going through your skin, lymphatic system, bloodstream, all the way down to muscles, right? And what it's doing, so when you think hey, this is like the silver bullet, I'm going to take this pill and I'm Superman, is that it's going to be cleansing, right, your body. I mean, and it's almost like that's why it's a major detox. That's why when they went over this, they probably said, hey, you might have detox reaction, healing crisis after this, because your body is really cleansing itself out. So what we'll do even after this, and you can probably get it done in video, is that when we're done, it's possible, depending on how fluid his body is, right, when it sweats and so on and so forth, that whenever you sweat, I mean, it's clear, right? I mean, you look at yours. Yeah. But when you get off this thing, it's possible that it could be as black as this right here.
Okay.
And
actually getting rid of those
yeah, exactly. So when you sit down here, the sweat's going to go between your legs. It might go on the outside here, and you can look and see that. Now, sometimes, normally the first time you're not going to see that. It could take 5-6 times. But your body's finally able to release and get rid of those toxins. I mean, if you're, you grill in the backyard and you're making a burger, I mean, you're scraping up metal. It's, you may not taste it, but it's in your burger. It's just life, yeah. I mean, we're surrounded by it. You can't go around trying to dodge it. But what's great about this thing will actually start, because that extra oxygen molecule gets in there, and it's called free radical, right? Because what happens is, finally, what did happen was that it's O2 comes together, forms. You have that extra oxygen molecule that's inside of you. And it actually attaches to toxins. Okay, so it attaches to toxins, and then you sweat it all out. Okay. So what you're seeing could be, some of your toxic environment within your body. You sweating that stuff out. If you just, painted your wall, you've been sniffing that in, or you're behind a motorcycle, you sniff that in. I mean, you're getting those toxins no matter what.
Absolutely.
Your detergent. Unfortunately, you wear chemicals, and that's just life, right? Yeah. So this thing really helps your body do what it does best, right? Like, your body fights the infection, fights the disease. I mean, even down to like the cellular level. So it'll go down to like actually the cellular level, okay, and increase the oxygen in your body, or your cells, and it'll also help get those toxins out of your cells, because you actually have cells, the body layer, but you also have cells, or you have toxins in your cells, right? So it's helping to actually, and there's it's like methylation. I can't really the medical term, but we actually have people come in here that have a hard time getting rid of those toxins on the cellular level. Like they have to take pills and so on and so forth, right? Okay. And so they probably told you about the 2.5 times, right? That the ozone will increase the effectiveness of a prescription or a supplement by 2.5 times. Okay, not the potency. So it's not like you came in here and said, hey, I'm taking one Aleve. Oh, I just took 2 Aleve. It's like that one Aleve worked 2.5 times better than it normally does in your body. Okay. And so we've had people come in here to try to wean themselves off of antidepressants, which, from, let's say, 50 milligrams down to 5 milligrams, because their body can process it better. And so that's the whole point, is that your body's doing what it does best, right? And so we've had people like from bacterial pneumonia come down here coughing up blood. We may have go through nasal insufflation, and so then it also helps. Thank you. It also, that's a little better there. It also helps. They're the antibiotics, which we're not a fan. No one's a fan of antibiotics. They work. I mean, hey, they've saved lives. They're overprescribed. And so really the goal is that we want to, we've had people that if you take it, and also let's talk about candida, right? So you take these antibiotics, they're gonna get rid of that gut flora, right? So you drink some of this, it's gonna help obviously fight that candida, that yeast, that overgrowth that you have. So we've got, and the beauty of this is that this is used, around the world in hospitals. So let's talk about like the hospitals in Germany, in Italy, in Russia. They have free ozone clinics in Cuba for everyone in Cuba, like free, free walk in. It's part of their health initiative there. And Ecuador, we had a woman that was just here from Ecuador. She's like, this was like last week. She said that one of her friends, her husband just died, and she was sad and depressed and all that, and went to the doctor, and doctor prescribed her ozone. Seriously. That's the first time I was like, wow, for an emotional thing. I've always known, we've fought infections, we have fought some crazy stuff. We've had some really crazy things come through here. But I never really have thought about applying it to the emotional piece. She said, no, it's because your body, right, wants to heal itself emotionally or physically.
They're all interconnected.
They are, yeah. So that sort of made sense when she said that. But like she even had pneumonia, and they didn't even give her antibiotics. This is the woman from Ecuador. They just gave her 10 straight days of using ozone, right? So really, what this thing is doing, just your body's amazing. This thing is like crazy. We break it, it grows, fixes itself. It's an amazing thing, right? And so we're not like saying, hey, add this pill. This pill solves it. We're just saying, hey, give your body the energy that it needs. To actually repair itself and do what it can. We had a vet come in that had he was amputated from the knee down, completely amputated, and his it was an open wound for 13 months. Open wound. I have pictures. It did not look good. And so we bagged it. So we also do bagging. So I bagged the limb, and we spray it down, right, with a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, food grade, of course, and then we'd bag it and put the ozone in there, and then he'd also do the sauna. And within 4 to 6 weeks, it started to close up. Remember, 13 months.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the VA, and they're like, oh my gosh, what have you been doing? And he's like, well, I've been doing this ozone, and look what's happening. And they're like, you know what? You have to stop doing that, or we will no longer treat you.
Really?
Yeah. So there is some fear out there still, which and there should always be fear, and I get that, because sometimes anyone that's just out there doing this. My wife and I have been trained. We've got trained by Dr. Schallenberger, so it's like, hey, we got a great idea. Let's just give people this gas, and we actually went out there. And we're both a bunch of like doctor nerds. And probably way out of our element. And there was even a guy that was a vet, a camel vet. okay, veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there, yeah, because they bubble ozone, or they bubble it in their blood, the camel's blood, okay, because for camel racing, and it's increased the performance of camel, yeah, because
like a lot of problems.
a lot, yeah. I mean, and so like,
better.
oh yeah, and then
Isn't
we also,
like Dubai or something like that?
yeah,
right?
Dubai, yeah. We also learned that they use robots, and they used to use kids as jockeys, and they started getting hurt. So they actually have robots now, which I've learned that too. It's like, wow, this is crazy. And like they have little robots, like the little square things. They sit on there with like a little tiny head, and like they just like whack the camel.
Holy
faster.
cow,
Yeah,
man.
he's like showing pictures, like, man, this is stuff I didn't even know about. And with dogs, we've had even dogs that we've treated before, right? They've come in here with abrasions or skin disease or whatever, and we've actually been able to, help, the owner, right?
Absolutely.
Depends on the dog though.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
if
Anything
it's-
crazy in here. Never I always like to say bring your dogs, but if people need help, we want to help them. We've got another great story is that we helped this woman that and her child took the nose flu shot, the flu mist, and it did something to her brain where she wouldn't even speak anymore. Like she had gone like invalid almost. And the child was young. And mom was just looking for anything she could do. I just want to see more water. And so what happened was we said, well, we'll obviously give you, I don't even know what it was. Like we were doing it for free. It might have been like giving it to her for free.
Really cheap, like cost.
Yeah, it was like it cost just to like try and help her out because she didn't have the money to do it. And so we treated her for that was like 8-9 months, right? It's a long one.
Thank
Well,
you.
just to see if it works.
Yeah, just see if it'd work, if it'd do anything. And one night, and it's been 2 years since the daughter's even said anything to her mother. And it was like middle of the night, the child wakes up and yells, "Mom." Like,
Oh, crazy, yeah.
And the mom was like, I mean, come on, like that's huge for like, and for us, like we didn't know, like we're like we can apply it and try it. We have no idea, but in the end, once again, it's the body's trying to repair itself. So I
Yeah.
get in here and give you all the scientific data behind it, but I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you,
Mind-blowing.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know, but we did, apply it, and it worked. And there is a lot of these where, we'll get a lot of people in here sometimes too. That are wanderers. They're just trying to figure out, hey, can you please help me? I'm struggling, and depending on what they have going on, we'll definitely help them out. We had a guy come in that had stage 4 lung cancer, but he was actually referred to us by MD Anderson in Houston.
Okay, yeah.
So the great thing is, like, this is the first time we got really aggressive, and he was in remission. I think like 4 months, 4 or 5 months was it?
I can't remember. It was a couple months.
Yeah.
He came like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we had aggressive. We were very aggressive with him, but we had the okay from the doctor to be aggressive.
Okay.
And it went to remission. Stage 4. Yeah.
Awesome.
So this stuff is, and you can think about it does that. Like think about like if you want to train for, marathon or triathlon.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't actually have an ailment. Like
Right. I mean, like, and you can first because you have the cryo stuff, but that's like a, temporary. This is more like this is a full body, solution. We're adding that oxygen to your body so it can do that. Cryo is more like it's on the outside making your body react in a certain way,
Absolutely.
but this is adding that really increased hypercharged oxygen to your body, right? So it can cleanse itself. Because I mean, the less your body has to worry about all this other stuff going on, that you have, the more better it can perform. Period. I mean, that is it. So that's why everyone says, hey, once the immune system gets attacked and they attack. I mean, it's be easier for you to catch something, right?
Yeah.
So this really just helps you, really just, like I said, fight infection, fight disease, mold. We've had people with allergies come in here. I mean, done great for their allergies. It's,
When our kids
all over.
get ear infections, we do the ear installation on them.
No, that's so
Yes.
cool.
I mean, in hospitals, the reason why you're like, why isn't this going on here in the U.S.?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Let me tell you why. Because first thing, let's talk about what I told you. I just now increase the effectiveness of whatever you're taking by 2.5 times. Let's say you're taking a prescription drug. So
Yeah,
I just now told you that you only need 2.5 times less than what
Yeah.
you're taking. Okay, so that means it's less money you're spending on prescription drugs.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's one
Making
side.
money out of their pocket.
Totally. Then the next side is ozone can be used in every single department in the hospital. Burns. Burns, phenomenal for burns. I just told you, this guy had an amputee, right? Fertility. Oncology, cancer, we know that's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally it can be used, I mean, hepatitis C. We had a woman come in with hepatitis C, viral load. I think it was like,
10,000.
no, million. No, she was in like 10 million. And we got down to like 2 million, the lowest it's ever been in her lifetime. Like viral load. So, you got to think about that. Like, ozone is not just for one department; it's for all departments, and that impacts one thing. It impacts the guys that make the money,
Absolutely.
trying to keep you sick. Say, here you go. Here's some some pills. Give you some money, right? And so that's why, and it's very unfortunate. And I think there was like at the very beginning of this, there were some guys saying, "Hey, I'm a doctor. I can save. I can clear up your cancer," which is all BS. And they got called on it, and then now it made it a bad name for it. But this was, ozone was used in World War I by the Germans on the battlefield. Okay, so this is not like it's like brand new stuff. Like these guys went out there and they were disinfecting wounds with it, and it was working. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, Germans, they use it. All the German doctors use it. Italians, because it's the quality of life. It's the quality of life. There are studies. I believe it was a German doctor, and they use it at a hospital. If they have a stroke, are you all right?
Oh yeah, I just need to readjust.
Okay, yeah.
Pull that back in.
Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Need some water? You good?
I'm good.
Okay. So the German doctor, what he did is that they tested stroke patients, right? They would have a stroke, and within 48 hours they got treated at the hospital, okay? And you have like the x-rays, you see it, or MRI, or whatever. And then you've got stroke patients that were treated at home with ozone within 48 hours. And like you see the massive, because there's a larger part of the brain that gets impacted, lack of oxygen, right? Mm-hmm. And those at home that got treated with ozone didn't have paralysis. Didn't have 100% of the cases. Not like 100% of didn't have paralysis. Yeah,
That's a pretty good case study.
That's a pretty good case study, yeah. But see, we have to have double-blind studies here.
Okay.
So it has to go through. You have to do, hey, I've got my placebo group, I've got my real test group, and they've made it really hard for people to
You're gonna have people who actually pay for that also.
Yes, yeah. There is a there's a massive body out there that's tons of money that's trying to stop this, and because it would impact. It's a huge, like I said, it was just 2.5 times. Think about that just the pills, not about like everything in the hospital. All those different departments. Yes, it's both sides. I'm impacting both sides from beginning treatment, because now you probably won't need those pills because I was able to fix it on this side. But then even if you need the pills, I want to give you only need 2.5 times less. That's unbelievable. That's big. Do that nationwide. That is big. So that is why you don't see as much. There are 14 states, I believe 12 or 14 states that allow ozone, so you can't get this everywhere.
Wow, I didn't know that.